My name is Alexander Cantor. My tag is LGBT Chess. I'm a Princess Daisy main, the best Daisy in the world. I play Melee for the Nintendo GameCube. I'm currently right now in Rockland County.
So, how did you originally get into Melee?
So that's actually a really funny question. So I used to not like Melee at all. I actually actively disliked Melee. So I was a Brawl player for like a long time in high school. You know, it came out, and me and all my friends played, and like I got to be the best in the friend group, like the classic story, but with Super Smash Bros. Brawl. And then I went away to college, and I stopped playing Brawl, and I started playing Magic the Gathering. And I played that for 2 years. And every time I'd come home, my friends were like slowly stop playing Brawl, and they got more into Melee. And I was like, I just want to play Brawl, man. And they're like, no, 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 you got to play Melee. It's the best. I was like, I don't know. This game seems a little silly. I don't know. So I ended up playing Melee because my friends didn't want to play Brawl with me. First, I was playing Ness, and my tag was SNES. And I realized that Ness sucks, and he's really, really bad. So I stopped playing Ness, and I was like, all right, I gotta play someone better. And I really liked Peach. I thought down smash is so cool, and it's such a stupid move, but I loved it. You know, get all my friends tight. You know, a bunch of Fox mains. The one kid played Marth, and he would always beat me. I actually have like a really, really bad record against him in the head-to-head, which is really funny.
Hmm. That's weird. So, how do you feel coming from Brawl? Like, do you think that Melee is a more competitive game, or there's more to it, or do you like it better now?
Um, I don't know. I mean, I still have like Brawl really still holds like a place in my heart, and I still really like Brawl. But yeah, I definitely like Melee more. I think it's more of a competitive game. I think Brawl had a lot of like really cool aspects that could have made it good, but then it was just too top heavy on the characters. It was a fun game to play, but it wasn't a fun game to watch. So yeah, I think Melee is definitely a better game, and I think the results back it up. I actually very, very much dislike Smash 4. I think Smash 4 is much worse than Brawl. It just feels like bad Brawl, going from like Brawl to Smash 4. I know there's like, I've only met one other person who has that opinion as me, is like V115, who like still plays Brawl, and he's like a top player now, so shout outs to him. But yeah, I definitely think Melee is really, really good.
So, I know you play Peach. Armada's one of the, obviously the best Peach in the world. Do you think that maybe the character is limited, or do you think that she still can be a top character?
So that's a really good question. I think that Peach has her limitations, and she does some things a lot worse than the other characters, mainly her speed. But she has a lot of things that she's really good at. She controls a lot of space, and she's really good at edge guarding. And I think some of the matches with her are a little underexplored. Like I think Jigglypuff vs. Peach is an underexplored matchup. You have like, besides Hungrybox, there's a lot of like Peaches who are beating the top Puffs. Like I recently beat Toussaint, MacD beat Toussaint recently. I have a very positive record on Big Kid. So I think that's one of the matches where it's just not explored enough. And I really think she can do that matchup. I think she could beat all the floaties. She does well against Marth. I think it's really like once Fox starts like shooting lasers a lot at her and playing it kind of like how Fox plays Puff, I think that's when Peach is going to fall off, because I think Fox is Peach's worst matchup. Falcon's kind of hard too, but after watching people like Lod and Ryobeat, they're really very innovative, and they give me a lot of hope in that matchup. And they're all really good against Spaceys too. So I think Peach has I think she has some life left in her. I'm optimistic for her. I think that some of her bad matchups on paper, like Puff and Marth, can get better. And Sheik. I think Sheik can definitely get better too for Peach. But I think that like her Fox and Falcon matchup that people are good at now and doing really well with, I think those will get worse over time. But I'm still very optimistic. I think she's a top 8 character. She could win tournaments by herself. It just takes a lot of discipline to be good with her.
So, how long have you been playing Melee?
So I've been playing Melee. Well, I played when I was a kid. I played all the Smash games when they came out. But I played Melee competitively since 2013. Was my first tournament. It was actually, I know the date offhand, it was 8/13/13. I went to a No John's in New Jersey, and I played against Ryobeat, Nut, and K-Lit at this tournament. And it was like they did round robin pools, and it was a double Samus, double Peach pool. But I loved that. People in the pool were like complaining, but I was coming from Brawl, so I was like, this is good. This I could get behind this game. So I actually had a very positive experience like playing floaty dittos when I think a lot of other people might have been turned off to that. But it was like what I was looking for. And then I became really good friends with Nut William Devine. And we used to just grind Samus Peach. So I found like an aspect of the game that I really loved that a lot of people don't really like. But I think that's the beauty of Melee is that like some people like different things. And I think that there's like a community that kind of like is like, we don't want to see like Puff versus Peach or stuff like that at high level. But I think that's the beauty of Melee is that you have these matchups that are like, they're so different than Fox. And there's these characters that are so diverse and so unique. So yeah, I've been playing since 8/13/13. I practiced every day for a year in 2014. I did solo practice, 30 minutes a day. I didn't learn how to wave dash for like till the end of 2014, which is pretty bad. I thought it was bad with Peach because it's so small, and I was like, I'll rather just work on her like dash dance and stuff. But I eventually did that. There was one day I just chain grabbed the Fox for 12 hours, and then I was a chain grab master. I just did it, and I was like, all right, it's good. Back in my day, we didn't have any of the 20XX stuff, so I just had to do it on a stupid CPU that was like always died the same way. But eventually, I got pretty good at that.
Okay, yeah, back in my day as well. So.
Yeah, right.
I guess the final question, just to wrap it up, would be: so you've been playing for a long time. I mean, close to 5 years or so now. I still think that there's a lot of new players coming to the game, a lot of young players that weren't even born when this game came out. I think that there's still a lot of room for growth in the community. What kind of advice would you give to newer players or up-and-coming players in the community?
So for newer players, I think there's two main things you should focus on. And one of them's in-game and one of them's out of game. So I think in-game, you have to work on your movement and stuff by yourself. And I think that's really, really important. You got to learn how to control your character, and you got to be able to move fast, especially in this meta. And it's never been easier. I mean, you have all these tools out there. You have that Uncle Punch training mod. You have 20XX. Like, there's so many tools to get better at just, like, moving your character. So I think that's, like, really, really important. And the other thing is kind of out of game advice. So I think that you have to, every time you lose to someone, like, I'll go to tournaments and I play a newer player, and I'll hit them with, like, a really big combo or something, and they'll be like, oh man, like that was freaking lame, like that was some shit, and I'm like, that's gonna happen, you go to a tournament, it might be your first or second tournament, but you gotta, people are better than you, and this took me a long time to do too, but instead of like blaming everything on like your opponent's character or just like you weren't playing well or something, you gotta really and if you weren't playing well, you have to really think about what your mistakes are and what you can do to improve. So, like a tournament ago, not this last one on Monday, I haven't done it yet, but the tournament before that, a week ago, I just took some notes on my phone. Like, when Fox up B's low, I have to go down there and edgeguard him with a fair. I can't be afraid of that. Otherwise I'm going to miss the edgeguard and I'm going to miss that opportunity. So it's like little things like I could have been upset that I went down there and I got hit by the up B, but instead you have to like internalize your mistakes and get better from it. And just being a good person when you're like in person with someone else, just being nice and friendly, and that's how you make friends, and they'll want to help you if you like actively ask people for advice and then you incorporate the advice, that'll help. If you ask someone for advice and you don't do it ever, they're going to get tight. They're not going to want to give you advice. So really take their advice to heart and think about like what you can. You're always trying to improve yourself.
So are you working on any projects? Do you have any YouTube or anything like that you're looking to promote for yourself?
Yeah, I actually do. So my friend and I went on a road trip last year. We went on a month-long road trip, and we traveled down the East Coast. We played in 13 different states, and I think we attended 20 different tournaments in those states. So we actually have a documentary coming out that we're working on. So stay tuned for that. It should be out in a couple weeks. We've been really, really working for it. It's been a year. We have a lot of footage, because we've been on the road and, life happens and stuff. But definitely look out for that. It'll be on the Facebook pages and stuff, and we'll probably make a YouTube page for that as well. And you can always follow me at Twitter at LGBT Chess.
Awesome. I look forward to seeing that documentary.
Yeah, thank you so much.